The Secret Garden. Francis Hodgson Burnett. Previously on The Secret Garden, Mary Lennox led Dickon into the hidden garden, a place forgotten, tangled, and silent for 10 long years. There, among gray branches and winter grass, Dickon found signs of life, green shoots, wick stems, and the promise of roses waiting to rise again. As they worked side by side, digging and clearing the earth, the garden began to wake, and so did Mary's heart. He began to walk about, looking up in the trees and at the walls and bushes with a thoughtful expression. I wouldn't want to make it look like a gardener's garden, all clipped and spick and span, would you? He said. It's nicer like this, with things runnin' wild and swingin' and catchin' hold of each other. Don't let us make it tidy, said Mary anxiously. It wouldn't seem like a secret garden if it was tidy. Dickon stood rubbing his rusty red head with a rather puzzled look. It's a secret garden sure enough, he said, but seems like someone besides Teach, Robin must have been in it since it was shut up 10 years ago. But the door was locked and the key was buried, said Mary. No one could get in. That's true, he answered. It's a queer place. Seems to me as if there'd been a bit o' prunin' done here and there, later than 10 years ago. But how could it have been done? Said Mary. He was examining a branch of a standard rose, and he shook his head. How could it? He murmured. With T's door locked and he buried. Mistress Mary always felt that however many years she lived, she should never forget that first morning when her garden began to grow. Of course, it did seem to begin to grow for her that morning, when Dickon began to clear places to plant seeds. She remembered what Basil had sung at her when he wanted to tease her. Are there any flowers that look like bells? She inquired. Lilies of the valley does, he answered, digging away with the trowel. And there's Canterbury bells and campanulas. Let us plant some, said Mary. There's lilies o' the valley here already, I saw 'em. They'll have growed too close and we'll have to separate 'em, but there's plenty. Other ones takes 2 years to bloom from seed, but I can bring you some bits o' plants from our cottage garden. Why does the want 'em? Then Mary told him about Basil and his brothers and sisters in India and of how she had hated them and of their calling her Mistress Mary quite contrary. They used to dance round and sing at me. They sang, Mistress Mary quite contrary. How does your garden grow? With silver bells and cockle shells and marigolds all in a row. I just remembered it, and it made me wonder if there were really flowers, like silver bells. She frowned a little, and gave her trowel a rather spiteful dig into the earth. I wasn't as contrary as they were. But Dickon laughed. He said, and as he crumbled the rich black soil she saw he was sniffing up the scent of it. There doesn't seem to be no need for no one to be contrary when there's flowers and such like, and such lots o' friendly wild things runnin' about makin' homes for themselves or buildin' nests and singin' and whistlin'. Does there? Mary, kneeling by him holding the seeds, looked at him and stopped, frowning. Dickon, she said, you are as nice as Martha said you were. I like you, and you make the 5th person. I never thought I should like 5 people. Dickon sat up on his heels as Martha did when she was polishing the grate. He did look funny and delightful, Mary thought, with his round blue eyes and red cheeks and happy-looking turned-up nose. Only 5 folk as the likes, he said. Who is th other for? Your mother and Martha. Mary checked them off on her fingers. And the Robin and Ben Weatherstaff. Dickon laughed so that he was obliged to stifle the sound by putting his arm over his mouth. I know the thinks I'm a queer lad, he said. But I think the art teach queerest little lass I ever saw. Then Mary did a strange thing. She leaned forward and asked him a question she had never dreamed of asking anyone before. And she tried to ask it in Yorkshire because that was his language, and in India a native was always pleased if you knew his speech. Does thee like me? She said. He answered heartily. That I does. I likes thee wonderful, and so does tit Robin, I do believe. That's two then, said Mary. That's two for me. And then they began to work harder than ever and more joyfully. Mary was startled and sorry when she heard the big clock in the courtyard strike the hour of her midday dinner. I shall have to go, she said mournfully. And you will have to go too, won't you? Dickon grinned. My dinner's easy to carry about with me, he said. Mother always lets me put a bit o' something in my pocket. He picked up his coat from the grass and brought out of a pocket a lumpy little bundle tied up in a quiet, clean, coarse blue and white handkerchief. It held two thick pieces of bread with a slice of something laid between them. It's oftenest naught but bread, he said, but I've got a fine slice o' fat bacon with it today. Mary thought it looked a queer dinner, but he seemed ready to enjoy it. Run on and get thy victuals, he said. I'll be done with mine first. I'll get some more work done before I start back home. He sat down with his back against a tree. I'll call tit Robin up, he said, and give him tit rind o' bacon to peck at. They likes a bit o' fat wonderful. Mary could scarcely bear to leave him. Suddenly it seemed as if he might be a sort of wood fairy who might be gone when she came into the garden again. He seemed too good to be true. She went slowly halfway to the door in the wall, and then she stopped and went back. Whatever happens, you never would tell, she said. His poppy-colored cheeks were distended with his first big bite of bread and bacon, but he managed to smile encouragingly. If there was a missel thrush and showed me where thy nest was, does the think I'd tell anyone? Not me, he said. The art as safe as a missel thrush. And she was quite sure she was. Let your dreams carry you to a gentle, happy world. Good night.